The Penguins play a second of a back-to-back in Pittsburgh on Sunday. How did they fare against the Rangers? Did they bounce back from an 8-3 thrashing by the Washington Capitals? We're going to find out all the answers on this episode of Penguins Postgame, and it starts right now. Let's get going. You're locked in to Penguins Hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Hey, showcase scores! The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins Postgame. PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Good evening, everybody. Good Monday evening. It's coming a little bit later than expected, but the old saying goes, better late than never. Penguins fall 5-3 to the New York Rangers on the day after they honor the legacy of Mike Lang. We'll get to it all in just a matter of moments, but first, a quick little shout out to Jimmy Vesey. He drilled home his 100th career NHL goal on that Sunday afternoon. And we want to remind everyone of our head coaches and our goaltending matchup in this one. For this game, Penguins will go to rookie goaltender Joel Blomqvist with Alex Nedeljkovic backing him up. And of course, we will see Igor Shesterkin. And as I was reminded on the Penguins post-game show, Penguins Live post-game, or I should say the pre-game show, Penguins Live pre-game on WXDX FM Pittsburgh, Igor Shesterkin did start against the Buffalo Sabres for the New York Rangers in their last game on Saturday, where they were thrashed 8-2 by the Buffalo Sabres. On this recording of Penguins postgame, however, it's the Rangers not necessarily thrashing the Penguins, but beating the Penguins by 2 goals. They were led in goal by goaltender Igor Shesterkin, with Jonathan Quick, the former Los Angeles King, at backup. So we went to the goaltending matchup early on. Let's get to the head coaches. And those are Mike Sullivan for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Peter Laviolette. Peter, if I pronounce your last name wrong, again, sincerest apologies. And of course, this one going down at PPG Paints Arena. Last game of the season between these two Metro Division foes. And you know what that means? we now have 23 games left to go. Last year on Penguins postgame, we tried to do 82 games and succeeded. But this year, we're trying again, and we're going to see if we can do it. We've done well so far. We got the Battle of Pennsylvania ×2. We got the Battle of Pennsylvania ×2 coming up on Tuesday, which tomorrow, both this show and the show recorded on Saturday, will drop before then. Our weekly in sports show, which I recorded earlier today at the time of our recording, will drop on Thursday. Hopefully it'll drop on Thursday. And speaking of Thursday, this week, I'm hoping to do episode 5 of season 4, but that could very well end up being a Penguins post-game show, so be sure you stick with us regardless of whether that happens or not. All things considered, we'll get to coming up for the Penguins and the Rangers down the road. But with that said, let's go ahead and take our first commercial break of the program. When we return to Penguins postgame, we're going to go ahead and go into our game summary of the game, goal by goal, penalty by penalty. And we're going to start by going penalty by penalty when we return from the break. And during this period by period game summary, once we get to the goals, we will take a commercial break. When we come back to the next part of it, we will let you guys in on the stats for the game. And I will have that for you via the NHL app. Download the app for yourself to follow your favorite team all year long. With that being said, Penguins postgame will continue in a moment. The game summary, part 1 of 2, is next. Stick with us.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. search Broadcast Map.
Rangers 5, Penguins 3. Welcome back to Penguins Postgame. My name, of course, as I could have said earlier on in the show, is Scott McGregor. That's my bad, but I am your host of the program. This show also happens to go down on the ice and behind the benches. It will be in audio format on the ice and behind the benches, but more on that another time. That is why it's part of our combined deal with On the Ice and Behind the Benches as Thomas Miss McGregor. It is part of the main reason why we are coming to you every Wednesday off day the Penguins have this hockey season. Not too many off days left, but we have a lot of Penguins hockey to get to. We might give it to you during the off season, but you know what? That's okay. It's fine. We got a game to get to, but one final note on that. That is for Penguins post game of Penguins Wednesday hockey. Going to start sharing the screen there, and there you see our score line. So without further ado, let's get to it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Going to start with the penalties in this game. And I'm just going to bring it down there for a second. Only 2 penalties to be called in the first period. That's where we will start. We'll get to the second period as well. Third period, well, we'll get to the scoring. There was no penalties called in the third period. So just the first and second period are our topic of conversation for the penalty summary. And here's what we have for you. Matt Rempe received a 2-minute minor for interference against Matt Grzelcyk. A 2-minute minor for interference against Matt Grzelcyk. Grzelcyk, of course, was injured in this game and did not return, so we hope Matt is okay. Matt Rempe went for what was going to be what was originally a 5-minute penalty. It went down to 2 minutes, and that came 14 minutes and 24 seconds in. A little later, the Pittsburgh Penguins take their only penalty of the game, in which unfortunately, the penalty kill was unable to kill off. So it was a costly penalty as Chris Letang takes the only Penguins penalty of the hockey game. It's a 2-minute minor for tripping at 17 minutes and 41 seconds in. In the second period, penalties to account for. UV, Urero Vakiniemi. If I had that right or wrong, I apologize. If I have that right, great. If not, apologies in advance. So I'm going to go with UV in case I got that wrong. Apologies in advance. That took the Penguins to their first power play, second power play, They got the first power play of the day. And the second power play of the day came at the second period at 4 minutes and 45 seconds in. the Penguins were unable to connect on all 3 of their power play opportunities, but we'll get to that in the stats portion in just a moment or so. Wrapping up the penalty summary with Will Cully, who had a goal in this one. We'll get to his goal in a moment. But he took a penalty in the second period at 12 minutes and 26 seconds, a 2-minute minor for interference. And there is your penalty summary. Going to stop the share while I bring up our goals. And when we come back to that, we'll bring up the shared screen for the goal scoring portion. All right, we are set up here. So here we go with our scoring. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. One more time. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen one more time. And here we go. In the first period, the Penguins strike first as Evgeny Malkin scores goal number 10 on the year to give the Penguins a 1-0 lead. Later, Will Cully scores. He scored on the power play. But before we get to that, on the assist of the Malkin goal, Cody Glass, his 11th of the season, and Danton Heinen, his 14th goal of the season. 14th assist of the season. Cody Glass, 11th assist of the season as well. And Malkin at 10 goals on the season. He gets the Penguins on the board first. 12 minutes and 53 seconds in, the Penguins have a 1-0 lead. Will Coley mentioned he had a penalty early on. Well, in the first period, he scores the game tire, which is courtesy of the Chris Letang tripping minor. His 15th goal of the season. Keandre Miller picking up assist number 10 on the season. And former Penguin Riley Smith, also former Vegas Golden Knight, picking up assist number 17 on the season. 19 minutes and 25 seconds in, the Rangers score on the power play, a PPG for NYR. And just like that, after a period of play, even though the Penguins are out shooting the Rangers 12-5, the score is all knotted up at 1 goal apiece. In the second period, Penguins still out shooting the opposition. They're still out shooting the opposition, as in the Rangers in this one. Only this time, they managed to score shots on goal. Actually make that 20. They were able to bash in 20 goals. Not 20 goals. If it was 20 goals, this would be a totally different outcome. It was actually 20 shots. So instead of leading 30-9 or whatever, they actually increased that way above. But anyways, we'll get to the shots in by the period in a little bit for the second period in a second. Only one goal scored in that second period. That went to J.T. Miller, a Pittsburgh native who scores against his hometown team, the Pittsburgh Penguins. His 12th goal of the season gives the Rangers their first lead of the day. Adam Fox on the assist, picking up number 42 on the season. 42 on the season for Adam Fox. Artemi Panarin picking up assist number 36 on the season. At the 17-minute mark of the second period, this game is in a 1-goal lead. To the third we go. And regardless on what the score for the game was after 2 periods of play, Penguins were still out shooting the New York Rangers. But regardless, they were out shooting the New York Rangers regardless. And they had 12 shots on goal in the first period. They added 20. They added 20 in the second period. So evidently they were actually out shooting. They were out shooting the Rangers still by about a shot total of 32-9. And the New York Rangers, by the way, only scored 4 shots on goal in that period, in that second period. Things got a little interesting in the third period. We're going to get to the goals before we get to that in just a moment. And speaking of that, let's actually go ahead and do so. We have ourselves on the third period. Let's go ahead and do so. Well, the Penguins know they're down by a goal. No need to ask, no need to tell Ryan Shea twice. He puts the puck by Igor Shesterkin for his first goal of the year. And if I'm not mistaken, he's only had 1 goal in his NHL career. He now has 3 goals in his NHL career, 2 of them coming in this game. We'll get to number 2 in a second. But correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan Shea doesn't have many goals in his career. Yes, he only had 1 goal in his NHL career. Now he has 3 goals. His first goal of the season, which was his second goal in his career, came at 57 seconds into the third period, which tied the game up at 2-2. But after 40 minutes, the Rangers led the Penguins 2-1. So we were tied after 20. Rangers leading 2-1 at the end of 40. We're tied at the start of our final 20 minutes. Ryan Shea quickly follows his first goal up with his second goal of the season and third goal of his career. On the assist, though, on his first goal of the year, Evgeny Malkin picking up an assist. Malkin's got a goal and an assist in this one. This is number 27 on the assist category for him. Erik Karlsson also picks up an assist number 34. Number 34 for Carlson in this one. And the Penguins take a 3-2 lead on 3 minutes and 31 seconds into the third period, as we see Ryan Shea score once again. This time, the secondary assist goes to Kevin Hayes, his 7th of the season, and the primary assist goes to Slap Me Silly Sydney. It goes to Sidney Crosby, his 42nd assist of the season. Assist number 42 on the year for Crosby. And Crosby's making a name for himself, it looks like. And I believe he's going to be really looking for some good stuff with some of the all-time greats, including Wayne Gretzky. Speaking of Wayne Gretzky, Alexander Ovechkin, who was held off the score sheet in Saturday's contest against the Penguins, scored a hat trick against the Edmonton Oilers on Sunday when this game was going on between the Penguins and the Rangers. After his team, even without him scoring on the board, scored 8 goals against the Penguins, who managed 3 goals. And in this homestand, the Penguins have managed 3 goals in each of their contests. They scored 6 goals in the homestand. They got swept in the homestand 8-3 on Saturday and lost 5-3 yesterday. That's the game we're talking about right now. And here's how it came down. It kind of just feels like bang, bang, bang that the New York Rangers put up a little deja vu, but don't take this out on Joel Blomqvist. Don't take this out on Joel Blomqvist. Don't take this out on him. I wouldn't even take it out on Ryan Shea. Ryan scored twice in this game for us. He had 2 of the Penguins' 3 goals. Malkin scored a goal too. In the end, though, it was Jimmy Vesey who, as I mentioned earlier, knocked in his 100th career NHL goal, his 4th goal of the year for this season, but 100th career NHL goal. Congratulations to him on that, to tie this one up a minute and 21 seconds after the goal by Ryan Shea gave Pittsburgh a 3-2 lead. Vincent Trocheck picked up an assist, his 21st assist of the season. Ryan Lindgren picking up an assist as well, his 14th assist of the season. Had yet to pick up an assist, picks up one on this one. Riley Smith had 2 assists in this one. And his first one came on the Will Cully goal on the power play in the first period. His next one comes on the Rangers' next goal at the 11 minutes and 26 second mark of the third period. Number 18 on the season for Riley Smith, 2nd assist of the day. Mika Zibanejad picks up his 27th assist of the season. Adam Fox, mentioned he had a goal and an assist in this one. He picks up his 5th goal of the season to give the Rangers back the lead, and the Rangers would go on to beat the Penguins by 2 goals. Your final score once again: Penguins 3, Rangers 5. Adam Fox, 5th goal of the season and only goal in the game, made it 4-3 Rangers. And then JT Miller scored his 2nd goal of the game. Had one already. This time it's an empty net one because Joel Blomqvist has been pulled. And the Penguins are within a goal. If they can somehow get the puck by Igor before it goes by the empty net, this game is tied at 4-4. Late seconds of the third period. 19 minutes and 53 seconds in is when the goal came in. It's JT Miller. Already has his 12th goal of the season. Picks up his 13th goal of the season to close the door on Pittsburgh and close the door on this matchup. His 13th goal of the season, an empty net goal. Jimmy Vesey picks up the only assist that he will get in this one. His 2nd assist of the season. Ryan Lindgren, speaking of seconds, 2nd assists of the game. Ryan Lindgren picks up his 2nd assist of the hockey game, which is his 15th assist of the season. At that timeline mark that I mentioned, 19 minutes and 53 seconds in, to give the Rangers a 3-1 lead, a 2-goal lead, I should say, and a 5-3 lead. They would hold on, or rather, I guess they would recover in third period for a win against the Penguins. But you know what? This game, the way it was going when it was 3-2 Pittsburgh and then 3-3 and then 4-3, until JT Miller scored the empty net goal, you're just kind of thinking, this is going to go either way. This game is going to go either way. The 3 stars of the game are coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we get to the 3 stars of the game, however, we're going to reveal the third period shots on goal, as well as the other game stats, coming up in the next portion of our program. So be sure to stick with us. And this is your reminder as we go to break that the shake of the game, game puck of the game, and the play of the game are all still to come, as well as the next 5 matchups for the New York Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins as they start to wrap up their February schedule. Penguins postgame will continue in a moment. Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners.
Hello? How are you, my friend? Why? What's the matter? Why feeling bored and lonely? Look at me! I am always happy. The only reason I can tell you it's because I listen to CNT Radio. All the best shows you can think of. The Melting Pot, the Cosmopolitan Culture Club, and the Song Bank. There are also many more new shows to come. Please make sure to visit her website at http://sienna-t.wordpress.com/sienna-t-radio. Oh, now I can hear you more cheerful. CNT Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Rangers 5, Penguins 3. Time now for the stats of the game. And we'll get to our 3 stars as well as the play of the game. The shake of the game and the game puck of the game will follow on our next segment of the show. If this ends up being 1 hour, that's okay with me. But I feel like we're going well so far. So far, so good. Coming up, as we roll on here, we want to get to the shake of the game and the game puck of the game. I also want to take some time to take a look around at our 10-game slate of games on Sunday. We have 2 games going on right now. Actually, 1 game going on right now at the time of our recording. And that is, of course, the Jets and the Sharks. But we're going to focus on the Sunday action before we get down to all of that. And I actually am going to go ahead and share the screen here to bring you the other action from around the league that went down on Sunday. Of course, though, before we get to all of that, I want to quickly get into our stats. And so before we do any of that, let's go quickly to... let's actually go quickly to the game stats here. So as we mentioned, the shots were updated in the second period, and it was 20-4 in favor of the Penguins, which meant they were out shooting. They were out shooting the New York Rangers 32-9 in the third period, despite no penalties being taken. Only 5 shots on goal were managed by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Actually, make that 8. Make that 8. Yes, they actually had 8. They actually had 8 shots on goal instead of 5. They had 8 shots on goal to the Rangers 7, which means they outshot for the game. They outshot Oh, yeah, 8-7. So that means they outshot the New York Rangers. The Penguins outshot the New York Rangers 40-16. That's quite a number of shots on goal by the Pittsburgh Penguins. In the face-off dot, this game saw 49 face-offs. The Penguins winning 57% of those face-offs, winning 28 out of 49. The New York Rangers won 21 out of 49, winning just about 43% of the face-offs. The Penguins' penalty kill is 0 for 1 on the day. The Rangers' power play, 1 for 1 on the day. They only had one opportunity on the power play. They are 3 for 3 on the penalty kill, and the Penguins' power play, 0 for 3 on the day. The Penguins spend 2 minutes in the penalty box. The Rangers spend 6 minutes in the penalty box. The Rangers out-hit the Penguins 29-11. They also led in blocked shots with 18 to the Penguins 13. Penguins, well, I guess you could say this is also a Rangers category. 16 giveaways for the Rangers, 18 giveaways for the Pittsburgh Penguins, something the Penguins will really have to work on. But the Penguins take the category in takeaways, 9-3. And of course, they also take the shots on goal category, 40-16. They outshot the New York Rangers cleanly, well, not really cleanly, but had a ton of shots in that second period. In the first period, they had a ton of shots, but only 12 shots registered. 5 shots for the Rangers registered in the first period, 4 in the second, 7 in the third. Only 8 shots mustered by the Penguins in that third period of play as well. And with the stats out of the way, that'll bring us to the 3 stars of the game. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Just give me a second to set up our 3 stars of the game. Of course, that is brought to you by on the Penguins Radio Network. Those are brought to you by your neighborhood Ford stores. Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of the Pittsburgh Penguins. We are not sponsored by that, but once again, could be coming down the road. And here we go with your first star. That is the aforementioned Penguins native. Well, actually, we'll start with your third star. Your third star is the aforementioned Adam Fox. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. That's New York Rangers defenseman. Penguins defenseman Ryan Shea picking up 2 goals, 2 points, no assists. And your third star is JT Miller, the Pittsburgh native and New York Rangers centerman. 2 goals, 2 points, no assists. Have a difference in opinion in the 3 stars of the game? Shoot us an email at Sports for Beginners Podcast, 8231@gmail.com. Or drop us a line at our Discord server on Penguins postgame show Interactions. If we end up going live during Penguins games over the remainder of the season, it's going to be kind of rough to do that during baseball season, as that is just getting underway. But we will try our absolute best. The best way to do that, especially if it were going to be a live stream, is to probably start doing that around the second period and third period of the game, even into overtime or perhaps the shootout. And you can send an email to sportsforbeginners podcast8231@gmail.com. Once again, that's sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. As you can see there, Penguins fans, if you're watching on YouTube, I have a Buffalo Bills shirt on. I'm also a Buffalo Bills fan when it comes to football, but keeping it to the Penguins topic here, we're going to get to the next 5 for the Penguins and the Rangers coming up in a matter of moments. But now, as we roll on, I want to take some time here with the 3 stars and the stats of the game out of the way. I want to take some time to get to the action around the league from our action on Sunday. All these games have since gone final, so I'll have to update my NHL stat line for that. But here's all the finals minus our game. Penguins lose 5-3. The Capitals, as I mentioned, with Alexander Ovechkin being a notable goal scorer, find themselves sweeping their back-to-back road trip as they defeat the Edmonton Oilers 7-3. They are on a 5-game homestand right now. Starting on a high note, they beat the Oilers 7-3. The Tampa Bay Lightning defeat the Seattle Kraken 4-1. We need overtime in the Motor City in Motown, and the Red Wings come out on top in overtime 5-4. The recipient of the overtime winner is the former Chicago Blackhawk Patrick Kane with his 14th goal of the season. He gets the overtime winner. With just about 2 minutes left in overtime, 4 minutes into the game. Well, actually, just about a minute left in overtime to the exact, to get that win. Moving on. The St. Louis Blues knock off the Colorado Avalanche 3-1. The New Jersey Devils shut out the Nashville Predators 5-0. The Toronto Maple Leafs in action on Saturday. They're in action again on Sunday. They defeat the Chicago Blackhawks 5-2, outshooting the Blackhawks 30-27. The Dallas Stars knock off the New York Islanders, not the Rangers, They knock off the New York Islanders, not the Rangers. The Rangers were playing the Penguins. They knock off the Islanders, the Stars knock off the Islanders 4-3. And last but certainly not least, Utah Hockey Club knocks off the Vancouver Canucks 2-1. And the Sharks are knocked off by the Calgary Flames 3-2. With the final goal going to Joel Hanley. First goal of the season. And is that his first goal of the... Do we have a first goal of an NHL career? It's the first goal of a season for this dude, but isn't it his first in the NHL? No, it's his fourth goal in the NHL. Fourth goal of his NHL career, but first goal of the year is an overtime winner. All the same, congratulations. And that'll do it for our action around the league on Sunday. We'll make a quick check into the action on Monday, which is currently going on. Only one game in the late window coming up at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, but that one game right now that started at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central is underway, and we'll get to that score in a moment. But as we roll on here, we're getting close to the end of the show here. The play of the game is next, and the shake of the game is also coming up. We'll get to the game puck of the game, which will lead to next up for the Rangers, next up for the Penguins. We've talked about what's next up for the Penguins already a little bit so far. But be sure to stick with us because we might have a part edition of Penguins postgame coming your way. So stay tuned.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners. We're back here on Penguins postgame. Penguins and the Rangers. Rangers knock off the Penguins 5-3. They take the season series against the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-1. So just quickly, I want to provide, before we get to the play of the game, which on the Penguins Radio Network that we are not sponsored by, is brought to you by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. I just want to give some thoughts quickly on the series. Look, As someone who was very upset when the Penguins, well, I mean, yeah, no, I had that right. I was very upset, like most of you Penguins fans were, when the Penguins got the heck beat out of them back in Pittsburgh at the start of the year, 6-0. And I was very happy earlier this month on February 7th when we were talking about a Penguins victory over the New York Rangers at 3-2. But losing in Madison Square Garden, yeah, that's fine. Losing twice at home to this team, the Rangers, hey, at least we weren't shut out 6-0 like we were back in October earlier this season in 2024 on October 9th. But let me just tell you this right now, Penguins fan. Let me just tell you this, just to wrap it up. I truly, truly, truly believe the Penguins have a shot at winning this, not winning, at making a case for the playoffs, but they're going to have to really win these next 23 games, including the games against the Philadelphia Flyers, which are coming up as part of our segment in the next 5 coming up in a matter of moments. That will do it for our shared screen for a little bit. But gonna get to our play of the game right now. And again, that is brought to you by, for Penguins fans, of course, this is brought to you by on the Penguins Radio Network. If you listen to the Penguins Radio Network, that is brought to you by Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly. And with that all being said, we're actually going to play this here. We're going to play this. I'm going to share the screen. So here we go. And all credit going to the NHL, the New York Rangers, and of course, the New York Rangers, and of course, the Pittsburgh Penguins. My play of the game, you know what? Phil Borg also mentioned this earlier. He mentioned this actually, I should say, on the broadcast. But I'm going to go ahead and give my play of the game to this man, Adam Fox. It's good enough for my play of the game. And ladies and gentlemen, here's how it happened. Here are the men on the call. So enjoy it. Here are the men on the call for your play of the game as Adam Fox netted the go-ahead goal. Fox netted the go-ahead goal. I can't really put the full screen in there, but you know what? That's okay. We're just gonna go ahead and play it anyways. So here we go. Enjoy. on the call, of course, those who had the call of the game. Adam Fox, good enough for my play of the game. And again, that is brought to you by on the Penguins Radio Network that we are not sponsored by. Disclaimer, not sponsored by it. Could be coming down the road. It is brought to you by on the Penguins Radio Network, Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh's entertainment destination. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Please play responsibly. Message for 21 and older and 18 years or older. Adam Fox's 5th goal of the season and only goal of the hockey game. Good enough for my play of the game. Gonna take a quick timeout. Shake of the game is coming up next. Also coming up next, the game puck of the game. And we'll also wrap it around here with our next 5 for Pittsburgh, next 5 for the Rangers. All that coming up next on Penguins postgame. So be sure to stick with us. We're coming up on an hour mark of the program. So if this is ending up to be an hour, that is completely fine. That is completely fine. We'll be back in a moment.
Hello? How are you, my friend? Why? What's the matter? Why feeling bored and lonely? Look at me! I am always happy. The only reason? I can tell you, it's because I listen to CNT Radio. All the best shows you can think of. The Melting Pot, the Cosmopolitan Culture Club, and the Song Bank. There are also many more new shows to come. Please make sure to visit her website at http://sienna-wordpress.com/sienna-radio. Oh, now I can hear you more cheerful. CNT Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
It continues on Penguins postgame. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today on the show. Time now to halt from sharing the screen for a bit. Time now to halt from sharing the screen for a bit. But it is time now to reveal the shake of the game. And as we go along here on Penguins postgame, we'd like to remind everyone that the shake of the game will feature on special episodes of the show. It will feature 2 recipients of the shake of the game with 3 possible players getting game puck of the game, or going in line for the game puck of the game. That coming up in just under about 2 minutes from now. But to get there, let's get to the shake of the game. That is brought to you by, well, actually, that is inspired by, not brought to you by, it's inspired by the Milkshake Factory ad created and formally run for Pittsburgh by number 59, Jake Gensel. It's currently run now by number 17, Brian Rust. Whenever Brian Rust scores, Penguin fans, you receive half off Rusty Shakes next day at the Milkshake Factory. And with that said, for tonight's broadcast, even though it's for Sunday afternoon's broadcast, which we were going to try to get to yesterday, didn't do it, so we're doing it today. We're going to go ahead and give 1, 2 aside. And the first person to go and get a shake of the game is going to come from the victorious New York Rangers. They helped the Capitals sweep the Penguins in their back-to-back, in the Penguins back-to-back, I should say. And they also win the season series against Pittsburgh. They also win the season series against Pittsburgh 3-1 for the 2024-2025 season, beating Pittsburgh both times at home and once at Madison Square Garden. They lost on February 7th at Madison Square Garden to the Penguins, beat the Penguins when the Penguins were at home, 6-0 back on October 9th, 2024, and beat the Penguins yesterday when the Penguins were here at PPG Paints Arena, 5-3, the final. They also beat the Penguins once at home, winning 4-2 in Madison Square Garden. The first shake of the game is going to go to a New York Ranger, and that is going to be Rangers goaltender Igor Shesterkin. 3 goals given up, all at even strength. But still, Igor was standing on his head all night long. All night long, Igor stand on his head. Igor stood on his head like he really wanted to make sure nothing went wrong for the New York Rangers. 40 shots against him, 37 saves. Save percentage of .925, and he played the entire 60 minutes of the game. Really nice job by Igor Shesterkin. Honorable mentions. These are the men that will be in the running for the game puck of the game. Due to time constraints, we're going to give you 2. The first one's going to go to Mika Zibanejad. He picked up an assist in this one. And we're going to give a honorable mention to JT Miller. And you know what? Let's add a third one. So that one's going to go to goal scorer and assist man, Adam Fox. Adam Fox, Mika Zibanejad, and JT Miller. those guys are in the running for the Rangers, I should say, game puck of the game, coming up in a matter of moments. But before we get there, I'm going to get into the Penguins recipient. The recipient of the shake of the game for the Rangers has gone to Igor Shesterkin. And the recipient of the shake of the game for Pittsburgh, well, this one's going to go to Ryan Shea, but giving an honorable mention to the goaltender, Joel Blomqvist. 15 shots against, 11 saves, 4 goals given up, 1 on the power play. 3 at even strength. Played 58 minutes and 25 seconds. I already went over that. He made 11 saves, faced 15 shots, finishes the game with a save percentage of .733 and a timeline on the ice of 58 minutes and 25 seconds. We also want to say that I'll give a honorable mention not only to the goaltender Joel Blomqvist, but we're going to give an honorable mention to Evgeny Malkin. And how about Kevin Hayes? And you know what? Why not Sidney Crosby? We're going to give it to Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Joel Blomqvist. Those are our runners-up, which will be in the running for the game puck of the game. We're going to get to that right now. Let's start with Pittsburgh, since we finished with Pittsburgh on that end. And our recipient is going to go to... We are going to go ahead and give it to... The man who is going to get it is... It's going to go to Evgeny Malkin. It's going to go to Evgeny Malkin. Again, the recipient of the shake of the game for the New York Rangers is Igor Shesterkin. And of course, our recipient for Pittsburgh is Ryan Shea. So who is the game puck of the game recipient on the New York Rangers? Well, the first one, just a reminder of the Penguins, that's going to go to Evgeny Malkin, Gino Machino. And we are going to go ahead between Mika Zibanejad, Adam Fox, and JT Miller. We are going to go ahead and give the game puck of this one to winner, winner, chicken dinner. Give it up, Rangers Nation, for Adam Fox. Adam Fox is going to get the game puck of the game. You can give us your thoughts on it through the Penguins post-game show Discord server, interactions on our Discord server, or send an email to us at sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time as we start to wrap up here on Penguins postgame. We will come back to the Penguins' next 5 games in a matter of moments. But we're going to start things off here as we have hit the end of that marker. We have hit the end of that marker. It is time for us to talk about the next 5 games. We're going to start with the Pittsburgh Penguins and return to them after we go over the New York Rangers, because it'll be time to set up the Battle of Pennsylvania 2-part finale in a home series for the 2024-2025 season. The 4-game season series with the New York Rangers has come to an end, and the Rangers have won 3-1. At the end of the season, the Capitals will finish their season series with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the season series for the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers in 2024-2025 comes to an end tomorrow night and Thursday night. It wraps up for real. Ladies and gentlemen, here is your next 5 games for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Pittsburgh Penguins will battle the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. They will also battle the Philadelphia Flyers in Pittsburgh on Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Central. Of course, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time, and that's also 4 p.m. Central Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. For the Tuesday night game at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, February 25th, 2025. And by the time you hear this show, Mike Lang's broadcast, and of course, our wait for Weekly in Sports will be just 2 days away. By the time you hear Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh from Wednesday, you should be hearing Weekly in Sports on Thursday ahead of the last game of that series at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Pacific from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Penguins are at Wells Fargo Center for the home series beginning. They will return to Pittsburgh after that game and remain in Pittsburgh for a 3-game homestand, wrapping up with the Boston Bruins in another back-to-back weekend set. They will take on the Boston Bruins at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Pacific, and then at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, 10 a.m. Pacific, the final matchup of the Penguins versus the Maple Leafs goes down in a 3-game set with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Wrapping up the next 5 with the Penguins making the trip to Denver, Colorado on a mini 3-game road trip, as they will take a trip to Denver, Colorado for, well, you could call it the Night Owl Club game, but we'll see how long the game against Colorado goes. Game time is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And of course, that means it'll be at 7 p.m. Mountain Time in Colorado. The Avalanche taking on the Penguins. Looking forward to that game. That will be the second of 2 meetings between the Avalanche and the Penguins. And of course, we will see the Vegas Golden Knights on Friday March 7th at 10 p.m. Eastern. But as for our next 5, they are the Philadelphia Flyers ×2, Boston Bruins, Maple Leafs, and the Avalanche. Stop the share for a moment and bring you on to the action for the New York Rangers. They are currently on a 3-game road trip that will wrap up tomorrow. They will take on the New York Islanders at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. They will welcome in the Toronto Maple Leafs to Madison Square Garden at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday, February 28th, 2025. And again, as mentioned with the Philadelphia game, that's 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And the same thing for the Islander game on Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Nashville Predators are the opponent on March the 2nd to open up their March schedule. As the Maple Leafs and the next couple of games for the New York Rangers start a homestand for the Rangers. They will start the homestand with Toronto coming into town. And by the looks of it, it's a 4-game homestand. They got the Islanders tomorrow. The Maple Leafs will open up that 4-game homestand, where they will open that up on Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. On Sunday, the game against the Nashville Predators is at 7 p.m. on Sunday night, March 2nd, 2025. Back at it on March 3rd, on Monday, as they go toe-to-toe with the New York Islanders once again. And then to close out their next 5, they take on Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central, 5:30 p.m. Mountain, and 4:30 p.m. Pacific. So they got the Islanders, Maple Leafs, Predators, Islanders, and Capitals coming up next for the New York Rangers. As for the Pittsburgh Penguins, as we already know, back-to-back with Philadelphia in a home-and-home series to close out the Battle of Pennsylvania. And then it's time to take on Boston and Toronto. The season is coming to an end, Penguin fans. It's coming to an end. So there are not many games left for Pittsburgh or for the New York Rangers. And let me just double check here. I know I said 23 games left, but let me just double check here. The Penguins, out of 82, they have played in 59 games. Yep, they got 23 games to go. They got 23 games left. By the time the Penguins have played Philadelphia once again, twice. That's games 60 and 61, which means by that time, the Penguins, out of an 82-game season, will have played in 61 games, meaning they only have 21 games to go. So the Penguins are going to need huge, huge victories and huge, huge losses for teams they need to lose if they want to have any shot at making the NHL playoffs this year. Personally, I think that's a bit far-fetched. I said we were going to go into the action on Monday, but we've been running now for about an hour and 18 minutes to the exact. So quickly as we start to wrap up here and get you set up for the Battle of Pennsylvania, 2-part home and home series to close out the finale of this episode for the Rangers and the Penguins. Let's go ahead and take a look at our standings. This is what the wild card looks like. And as you can see, oh, hang on, let me actually bring that bigger a bit. Okay. Okay, we'll make do with what we can. But anyways, as you can see, oh, there we go. I can make it a bit smaller. There we go. As you can see, the Toronto Maple Leafs, with that win against the Blackhawks, are now the number one dogs in the Atlantic Division. But Florida is right behind them. Then you also have the Tampa Bay Lightning, and you also have, and those guys are right behind them in the Atlantic. So Toronto has Florida and Tampa Bay chasing them in the Atlantic Division. In the Metro Division, you have the Washington Capitals, Carolina Hurricanes, and the New Jersey Devils. Meanwhile, in the wild card, look at where Pittsburgh is, ladies and gentlemen. Look at where we are. We don't even crack the wild card right now. We don't even crack the wild card right now. This is where we are in the wild card. Out of 10 spots, no disrespect to the Buffalo Sabres, but we're almost dead last. The Penguins are lucky they're second last in the wild card race. But looky here, Philadelphia is also there, is also at the bottom. And the Rangers are also fighting for the wild card as well. Right now, the two wild cards are Detroit and Ottawa. So the Penguins are going to need a lot to go right for them over these next 23 games. I should say over these final 23 games of the season. The Penguins are going to need a lot to go right. Personally, I think this starts with draft capital. Should the Penguins find a way to, I don't know, end up drafting first overall in the draft next year, before next year's season, I should say. We shall see. We shall see. But the point is, a lot's going to have to go right for this Pittsburgh Penguins hockey club if they want any, and I mean any, chance of making it into the playoffs. That is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, though, for another episode of Penguins Postgame. We've now been running the show now for about an hour, 22 minutes. So we're going to stop it here as we go to 23 minutes or so. But that is going to do it for another episode of Penguins Postgame. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today on the podcast. I would love it if you took a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. The Penguins fall 5-3 to the New York Rangers on Sunday. Now it's time for them to head for the Battle of Pennsylvania conclusion. And that comes our way next time on Penguins Postgame. As always, my name is Scott McGregor, and I would like to thank you for joining me. I would like to thank you for joining me on this show. Not a live stream, but beggars can't be choosers. It's the Battle of PA on deck, which features these two foes going at it. You can't really see it here via our screen here, but these two foes will go at it starting on Tuesday night, tomorrow night. Our first recap of it will come your way on Wednesday. And then following an episode of Sports for Beginners on Sports for Beginners, we'll have Penguins postgame. Penguins and the Flyers, the finale of the Battle of Pennsylvania, come your way. At the end of the day on Friday, maybe on Saturday, we'll see. With that all being said, thank you so much for joining us. And until then, my name is Scott McGregor, and this has been Penguins Postgame. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Let's go, Pens. I will see you next time on Penguins Postgame. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.